This is the most important, but let's just for a second take a time out and use some of your expertise and what's going on in Washington. As we look at what's happening at the IRS right now, we find out that not only did the president, we found out the president so far did not know about the investigation going on, did not want to interfere. But we found out the chief of staff a month before the IRS came out with their report knew about their conclusions already. Do you agree with Senator Hatch that the president had to have known?
Well, it's strange credulity to think that he didn't. I mean, that's very hard to believe. I think Orrin Hatch is right. Very hard to believe.
Jay Carney said Friday the president found out when it leaked out on the news reports on television.
Well, this is a story that keeps changing, and Congress needs to get to the bottom of it. When we're talking about the IRS persecuting people for being politically active, you know, I remember I'm old enough, Brian, to remember the enemies list from Nixon. Well, at least in Nixon's days, you didn't get on the enemies list by describing yourself as a patriot.
Right.
In this deal, if you had the wrong title, Tea Party or Patriot, they persecuted you, and it's clearly for political reasons. There's no other reason.
We're watching some Oklahoma scenes, what's happening right now, but still talking to the governor about what else is in the news. Over the weekend, I want to get your take. We heard from Dan Pfeiffer that it was irrelevant where the president was on 9/11/2012. Your reaction, Governor?
I don't think the American people think it's irrelevant. I mean, this is a tragedy that the story keeps changing. But for the president not to be willing to say, here's what I was doing, here's what I did.
Who ordered the stand down order?
Yeah, I mean, it's you got an ambassador murdered. You got 3 other brave Americans murdered. And the story, this came out, this concoction that it was because of some U-team deal, which has been totally blown away now, that this was a terrorist attack. I just can't imagine a president of the United States saying it's nobody's business where I was when there was a big tragedy. And then I'm just flabbergasted.
In fact, you've been around a lot of CEOs and been a lot of presidents. You've run the RC and you've run your own state. Do you think that's bad? You think that's bad leadership?
Well, I think there's hardly any leader that would practice that would say, it doesn't matter where I was. It doesn't matter what I was doing when something went terribly wrong. But I'll tell you what's going to happen. Ultimately, they're going to have, in the IRS deal at least, an independent prosecutor. And they're resisting it and resisting it and resisting it. The administration would do itself a favor to get an independent view so that people believe they've gotten to the bottom of it.
Governor, we'll have to see where it goes. And, of course, if anybody wants some help in times of crisis in Oklahoma, you're the perfect person to call, and I know you'd be there for them. Governor, thanks so much.